The Escondido man charged with killing a 13-year-old in a DUI crash 2 years ago received his sentence today. I have more from his emotional family inside the courtroom.
New recycling bins started going out in San Diego today. How you can find out when your household will be getting one.
A new effort to change the name of Murray Ridge Park after the woman who founded it.
Spiders may look scary, but they're actually our friend. Why experts say you should leave them alone.
And sports are sadly on the decline here at Valhalla High School in El Cajon. So much so, the softball season was just canceled. Wait till you hear what one senior is doing to keep the game going.
An Escondido man who pleaded guilty in a drunk driving crash that killed his girlfriend's 13-year-old brother was sentenced for the crime today. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. Alexander Arose entered the guilty plea last month as part of a deal to avoid going to trial. News 8's Alex Cheney was in court for the sentencing and joins us live with the details. Alex.
Marcella, it was a very emotional day in the courtroom as the family of Rodrigo Tapia Jr. were all on hand to see Alexander Arose be sentenced to 12 years and 8 months in prison for the DUI death of their brother, son, and friend. It's been a long day. It was a day of somber remembrance in the Vista courtroom as family and friends of Rodrigo Tapia Jr. came together to remember a young life taken too soon.
My baby, my son, will never come home again.
Rodrigo's mother, Norma Tapia, spoke about all the memories she won't get to have with her son.
They'll never get to see him grow, graduate, fall in love, get married, or have children of his own. All of these moments, all his dreams taken from him in an instant.
All right, Mr. Arose is now here.
22-year-old Alexander Tito Arose wasn't of legal drinking age when police say he got behind the wheel of a car intoxicated the night of April 27th, 2024. Prosecutors said Arose was driving between 91 and 119 miles an hour at the time of the crash on North Broadway and Country Club Lane in Escondido. That sent him, Rodrigo's sister, and another driver to the hospital and killed Rodrigo.
Are you prepared to go forward with sentencing?
Arose accepted a plea deal, and both sides agreed to the sentence for vehicular manslaughter and other charges. 12 years and 8 months in prison.
There is no right sentence, but there is still a sentence, and it's a hefty one. It's double digits. It's 12 years, 8 months. It's a lot of time in prison. A lot of time for you to think about what has happened.
Rodrigo's older sister talked about the negative impact his death has had on their family.
My mother's mental health and physical health is at risk. My father is constantly working himself to exhaustion to keep his mind busy. My grandmother has also declined, losing a significant amount of weight, and has unexpectedly been diagnosed with cancer.
Rodrigo's family and the judge want this sentence to be a lesson and a warning for any other young people who might drink and drive. And the Tapia family told me that they are having yet another remembrance ceremony coming up on April 27th, the day Rodrigo died. Reporting live from Vista, I'm Alex Cheney, News 8. Back over to you.
Thank you, Alex. Tonight, City of San Diego crews are still on the scene of a big sewage spill, which has led to the closure of OB's Dog Beach. That spill happened around 4 this morning off SeaWorld Drive near Friars Road, sending raw sewage into the San Diego River. The city estimates 18,000 gallons of sewage was discharged. It's believed that 9,000 gallons reached the San Diego River, flowing right into the Ocean Beach area, prompting that closure of Dog Beach.
Was bubbling out of a manhole cover in that area next to the river, and that's part of the reason why we see this closure here in Ocean Beach.
The city says testing is underway to determine just how contaminated the water is. It's still unclear how long this closure will last, as it depends on when the city gets a clean water reading in those tests.
New recycling bins are hitting curbs across San Diego starting today. There they are, that lighter blue. If you haven't gotten yours yet, it could arrive any day now.
News 8's Kelly Hessedal shares more on the rollout.
So the rollout is based on your trash collection route. So it's possible some people in your neighborhood may get their new bin before others. But here are the brand new bins. This one was just delivered today. They're light blue to distinguish them from the old dark blue ones.
Since we are servicing about 225,000 customers, this will be a multi-month process.
Thousands of new recycling bins are going out in San Diego. Some households in Linda Vista received theirs this morning.
The delivery will follow their collection routes, and that may or may not be the same collection route of their neighbor across the street.
Jeremy Bauer is the Assistant Director of Environmental Services.
More than 75% of the containers were over 20 years anyway, and this was what the city determined was the most efficient way to validate our customer base.
The new bins come after a lot of controversy.
I think the people were hoodwinked here somehow.
Trading one inequity for another is just reprehensible.
Critics have complained about being charged $43 a month for full service when the original projected fee was about half that. They also argue the new bins are unnecessary. However, the city says the new bins are more high-tech, more dependable, and are needed to make sure crews can distinguish the new ones from the old ones.
There's a new label. There's a spot if customers would like to write their address so that they know which bin belongs to them.
There's new signage on the top letting people know what can be recycled and what can't. There's also a scannable tag on the bin, which will help the city keep track of it.
But we're able to get data on how quickly we're picking up cans, where we're picking them up. So it's really about getting data. It's not tracking contents, it's not tracking what's in the can.
And in case you're wondering what's going to happen to your old bin, it will be recycled. Meanwhile, there's a small percentage of households ineligible for city trash pickup that need to hire a private company. Failure to do so could mean fines that start out at $200 every 2 weeks and eventually increase to $1,000 every 2 weeks. Now, there is help for people who can't afford to pay the monthly bill for trash pickup. For more on that and also more on a tool that can help you estimate exactly when your new bin will be delivered, just go to CBS8.com, click on this story. Kelly Hessedal, News 8.
Thanks, Kelly. They're distinctive.
They are. They're kind of like the color of your tie a little bit.
They really are.
Yeah, they're like a sky blue.
Well, you'll know that it's been changed. That's
Yes,
one thing. It'll
that's
be a
true.
visual
That's
trigger
true.
for you.
Yes.
Okay, if you live in Serra Mesa, you know Murray Ridge Park. It's a neighborhood favorite, but what you may not know is the story behind it.
And that's why one resident is fighting to give it a new name to honor his mom, who helped bring the park to life. News 8's Steffi Roche is live at Murray Ridge Park tonight. Steffi, tell us how this push got started.
Well, it all started back in 1984 when longtime Serra Mesa resident Peggy Lacey had an idea for the old landfill off Murray Ridge Road. She wanted to build a park. So Peggy Lacey spent the next several months designing what would eventually become Murray Ridge Park. She went door to door and gathered 300 signatures from neighbors. Lacey presented the signatures to the city, and in 1988, Murray Ridge Park was completed. Now, 38 years later, Lacey is 88 years old, still living in the same home. Her son, Greg Scott, and his sisters still push her through the park in a wheelchair. And now, Greg is asking the Serra Mesa Planning Group to dedicate the park in her honor. He is also working to petition the city to dedicate the park in Peggy Lacey's name.
And Peggy, if this park was named after you, what would that mean to you?
Oh, a lot, everything. It would make me feel worthwhile in a lot of ways.
I reached out to the city and the Serra Mesa Planning Group. The chair of the group tells me they certainly support some kind of recognition for her contributions to the neighborhood, and they are still looking into what options may exist. And a spokesperson for the city of San Diego also responded to me. He said they initially were not familiar with the petition, but now they are going to be looking into it and looking into what can be done. I'm going to have this full story tonight at 11. For now, reporting live from Serra Mesa, I'm Steffi Roche, News 8.
Nice legacy. Thanks so much, Steffi. California's biggest city mayors, Republicans and Democrats, joined forces today, urging the governor to step up on homelessness funding.
They are warning that without it, more than 40,000 Californians could end up back on the streets. News 8 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh explains what's next.
When the states invested in this program, our cities have delivered.
A plea by the leaders of California's largest cities for continued funding of the state's Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program, or HAP, launched in 2019.
These cuts put critical programs and real progress at risk, sending the message that reducing homelessness is no longer a priority for the state.
HAP funding is delivered via rounds. Round 1 was $650 million, then $300 million, then $1 billion for 4 consecutive years. But with the state budget deficit, it got no funding in the past budget and only half of what was promised in this year's budget.
Anything less than $1 billion really does mean that we'll be closing shelters in our respective cities.
The mayors are asking for the remaining $500 million, as well as a commitment of $1 billion annually moving forward, saying cities are making progress with the state's financial support.
Without HAP, that progress disappears. It is as simple as that.
The mayors say through HAP funding, cities which are on the front lines of fighting the homelessness crisis reduced unsheltered homelessness by 9% statewide, served over 330,000 people, added nearly 9,000 shelter beds, and nearly 3,000 permanent housing units. We asked Governor Newsom, who met with the mayors.
They've never had this kind of investment that provides the kind of resources. As it relates to the request, I cannot in good conscience provide any additional resources or argue for them with the legislature. If you have cities like LA that are violating state law, SB 79, I mean, you don't build, we're not going to fund, period.
SB 79, which has put Los Angeles at odds with Sacramento regarding state versus local housing control. The bill signed by the governor allows for denser housing like apartments to be built near major transit stops, which the city of LA continues to fiercely oppose. Meantime, the mayors are calling on all candidates running to succeed Governor Newsom to sign a pledge to ongoing $1 billion HAP funding.
As the only current big city mayor in the race, I'll be very proud to be the first to publicly commit to a pledge of $1 billion ongoing.
In Sacramento, Jenny He, News 8.
California lawmakers are moving fast on a package of bills to expand paid pregnancy leave, improve health care access, and make child care more affordable. The Legislative Women's Caucus, a bipartisan group of lawmakers, unveiled 14 priority bills they want signed this year. One plan would open more child care options for families and raise pay for providers. Another, a bill vetoed by the governor last year, would make pregnancy a qualifying life event, letting expectant mothers get or upgrade their health insurance when they need it most.
San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall is sitting down with News 8.
With what he said in a one-on-one interview with me still ahead. Plus, a new bill aims to end California's rare tax on military pensions and keep veterans from leaving the state.
And you might be noticing more spiders out and about across the county. How the weather is playing a role after this.